In this short video, we're going to take some time to learn about the air charter quoting features. First, we're going to start with fleet quoting. In Airplane Manager, each aircraft profile is allowed to have multiple quoting profiles. These quoting profiles are often named retail, wholesale, owner rate, things like that. And of course, those quoting profiles is what we use to calculate your initial quote. So we'll go take a look at a quote so you can see what a fleet quote would look like. You'll notice at the top of the page, it's highlighted in green what page you are on. Over here we have the trip number and the quote number. At the top we have the customer name, aircraft selected, and the quoting profile that was selected. If you click on the quoting profile, we will show you what this quoting profile has in it, which wind selections, taxi time, all those different calculations that we use. There's also a status of the quote. So you'll notice that we're going from Palm Beach to Teterboro, and it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. Also, pay attention to the colors of the page. Anything that is orange will signal a manual override to the system. If you ever want to put it back to auto calculation, just simply click on it and you can reverse the numbers and just hit the save again, So what I'm going to do here is back it out and hit the save, and then the system will recalculate the flight time. Down here at the bottom, you've got all your fees calculated. And you can do a lot of things within the quoting. If you'd like to add a catering fee, you can just go ahead and throw the number in and hit save and calculate. And you'll notice that you've got your new amount. We have MISC fees that you set inside of your quoting profile. Or you could add a general MISC fee right to the quote on a per quote basis. Down here we have the subtotal and the total charges, both of which can be overridden. For example, I'm going to override the subtotal, and I'm going to throw it out here at $85,000 and hit save and calculate. And you will notice what happens is we gray out everything above it. And now we're only using $85,000 and we're charging taxes and segment fees and coming to the total. On the print quote itself, it will actually show you what is on the quote, not what is grayed out. So if we go back and we want to revert this, you'll notice that the subtotal is turned orange. That signals a manual override. So if we click on it, turn it yellow, hit save and calculate, you will now notice the quote is back the way it was. And if we look at the print view, now all of the fees will show up. If you'd like to override the total, you can just directly override the total and skip everything altogether. Down at the bottom, we have the terms and conditions that you have selected on your quoting profile as the default terms. Also on your quotes, you can modify your headers and your footers, as well as your terms and conditions. You can put in specific keywords into your terms and conditions. Here you have a text box that you can preload for every new quote, and then you can edit it per quote. You can upload pictures of your aircraft as well. And you'll notice that you can email your customer right here. You can quote this trip against other aircraft, air charter airplanes in our system. If you'd like to, try to charter one of those airplanes. You can use a map view as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do here. Now we're going to go and we are going to make a new quote. This time we're going to make a broker quote. A broker quote does not have an aircraft profile. So in this case, what we do is we just simply select a size of airplane. In this case, we're going to say that it's a G200. And we're going to go from VNY and let's go up to SFO. Let's go on the 26th, 9 a.m., 2 passengers. And let's say that we're going to come back at 9 at night with the same 2 passengers. Okay, so you'll notice we're on the quote portion. We've got our customer, we've got our aircraft. If you'd like to put some extra information into the aircraft, you can. Right here you can put in who is operating it, because this is a broker quote. It's going to be operated by a third-party air charter company. You'll know the status is currently active. Now on the broker quotes, because we're using a generic airplane, we've come up with a flight time for you. However, you're going to get a quote from a real charter company, and you're going to come in here and you're going to override this. So let's just say that they came out to 1 hour and 10 minutes for that leg. Okay, and let's say that they came out with 1 hour and 5 minutes for the leg back, because you want your customer to see what is actually being flown and what's being quoted. Now down here, because we don't know what you are charging, you will basically just come in here and throw some flight charges in. So we've got about probably a 3-hour day, a 3-hour minimum or something. So what we're just going to do is we're just going to go on there and throw $12,000. And we'll throw some landing fees in there. San Francisco's always got some stiff landing fees. Let's throw some catering on board, and we'll hit save and calculate. And you'll notice there we've got your final price. And if you would like to see what the quote would look like, there you go. And of course you can have additional information in here if you choose. Okay. Also, you can select stock images. So you can upload your own images, or you can choose from our gallery, right? So let's say we're going to do the G200. And now let's go do the interior. G200. There you go. We'll save it. And if you look at your print quote now, you've got a nicer looking quote. Of course, when you're done, you can email the quote to the customer directly here. You can also book the quote directly onto your calendar once the trip is booked and ready to go fly. You can create an invoice out of the quote as well, if needed. Some companies use that and some don't. Keep in mind that in your quote setup, you can make some changes to your quotes. Your custom headers, custom footers, terms and conditions, quote setup, preloaded notes, things like that. So there's quite a bit of things that you can do there. So this is a very basic tutorial. It doesn't get into too much in depth. You'll notice that in our system we only use 3-letter IDs in the United States, so we do not use the K. Anything orange is a manual override, and other than that, you just play around with it, and I'm sure you'll get the gist of it. That concludes the tutorial for the quotes and invoice. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call anytime in the office.